Hello, everyone. My name is Shanna Hunt. I'm super excited to talk more about the humanistic approach. It's something that I feel that is very close to my heart, and that's something that I was very intrigued with when I first read it a few weeks ago. I really love the idea that companies and should be more an organization should be more focused around humans and be able to focus on employee employer relations. I feel like that's sometimes something that's really missed out on in organizations that can honestly really be the downfall of something if you don't have a good culture, which we've talked about a little bit in other weeks. But I chose to do this approach because it's something that I find really interesting and something that I think will really honestly affect my future career. So today, I'm going to move this so you can see it a little better. Today, I'm going to talk about an introduction, so just kind of more about what it is, and I'm going to talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I'm also going to talk about employee motivation and the four places that it comes from an article that I pulled, and I'm going to talk about communication. So as in communication within a company. I'm going to share personal experience and how that kind of relates to this. And then I'm going to end it off with a fantastic quote by our lovely Elder Bednar. Let's see. Oh, maybe right here would be better. Okay, so introduction for it. The humanistic approach, um, emphasizes the individual's personal worth, their centrality of human values, and the creative and active nature of human beings. And I know it can be a lot, but it's just meaning that we are naturally creative. Human beings like to be creative. They like to be inspired. They like to inspire other people. They like that connection that they get when they communicate to other people. This approach, it really focuses on optimism and focuses on the noble human capacity to overcome hardship, pain, and despair. And I think that's something that we can all relate to. No matter where we are or who we are, everyone has a story, and everyone has gone through something that has been hard and trial and been troublesome and painful. But we can relate to everyone because everyone has been through something. And I think that's something that's so unique about this approach is it inspires that. It inspires the want and the need to be able to talk to people one-on-one or in groups and be able to get to know them more and to be able to really connect. I pulled this information off, it's called simplypsychology.org. I had an article about this, and it continues in the article. It says, so this creates a distance between them where employees don't feel comfortable discussing problems. And what it was talking about here is that sometimes what happens is when there is almost a severance between, leaders, and there's a severance between employees, and there's no communication between them. And this people don't feel comfortable discussing problems, they don't feel comfortable discussing their needs, and this creates just not a great culture. And it can cause some problems later on. But I like that it comes with the resolution that the humanistic approach says that productivity comes from people, and people need to be happy and feel valued to want to do their best. This doesn't happen well if those connections aren't being made. And when it said those connections aren't being made, specifically talking about those leaders and the employees. And sometimes I feel like we just kind of get caught in this whirlwind, and we feel like, oh, we have to do this, this is next on my task. And because of that, we're forgetting the reason that we're doing that. We're forgetting the reason that we're working, and that is to create bonds and connect people and to help them. So now I'm going to talk about the hierarchy of needs and the humanistic leadership model. I'm going to go over this really quickly. I assume a lot of us know about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Abraham Maslow, who created the hierarchy of needs, said, if you deliberately plan on being less than you are capable of being, then I warn you that you'll be unhappy for the rest of your life. And that really hit me hard, and I feel like that goes really well with the humanistic approach, because sometimes, like I was talking about before, we just check off those boxes and we're not becoming who we can and are able to become. Really quickly, the hierarchy of needs, it starts off with what we need, our basic needs need to be met, so that way we can move up the pyramid, as to say. So the first one's food, sleep, water. We need those to survive. We can't live without those three things. And so once we have those, we can move up. So next one becomes safety, which encompasses like security, health, finances. When those needs are met, we're able to function more and to be able to start developing free time in other places in our life, and we start able to have love and belonging. And then that moves into self-esteem or status, recognition. And then where we want to be, which is very hard to be, is in self-actualization. And I pulled all this information, and the quote is from Abraham Maslow, but the photograph is from professionalacademy.com, and they talk a little bit more about the hierarchy of needs. And if you want to learn more, one thing that I did find to add along with all of this is called the Humanistic Leadership Module, or HLM. I love this. So, a group of researchers studied Maslow's hierarchy of needs. They studied the humanistic approach, and they said, these two things deserve to go together. They deserve to be collaborators on something that we can make for a company and an organization to help them run and be better. This was specifically created under Dr. Craig Nathanson, I think, how to say his name. I have his reference. It was specifically found on excellior.edu. If you want more information about this and who else ran on the program. But so what it is they talked about the humanistic leadership. So this triangle is about trusting others, being ethical, having compassion, and participating as a collective whole. A humanistic leadership system has a clear and aligned vision, mission, values, and expected behaviors. There should be a transparent communication and collaboration versus internal competition among the system's members. In a humanistic leadership system, the organization culture is caring and supportive, and people feel appreciated and included. The humanistic leader understands at a deep level that the most important business indicator is the level of joy and meaning that people have in their work. When this is the place, all other indicators of business success will go up. The key tenets of humanistic leadership are placing the needs of people over profit and having empathy and respect for others. And I love this, because it even says result is short and long-term success for both the individual and the organization and society, which is what we want to do. We want to have an impact on our society and individual, and that's the first thing that you can do to create a difference, is to have a difference on society. So it's a little bit about that. If you want to learn more, I have the reference in my reference slide. So the next thing I want to talk about is employee motivation. There are 4 things that are what drives employee motivation according to services.hbsp.harvard.edu. This is one of the articles that they have, and they say the 4 things is the drive to acquire, the drive to bond, the drive to comprehend, and the drive to defend. And I love each one of these, because I feel like the drive to acquire, like, it's so human to want things and to be fulfilled, and not in just material things, but in life and in relationships and in feeling that self-actualization that Maslow talked about. The next one is the drive to bond. We as humans, we are social creatures. We want to bond with people around us. We want to have positive emotions and positive interactions with everyone that we surround ourselves with. And that's why it's so vital to have that in a work environment. The next one is the drive to comprehend. Life can be crazy and it can be busy and so overwhelming. And if we don't have that ability to overcome confusion, then we will feel very lost, and that can really damage our culture and who we are as a person. So that's why it's the need to comprehend. And the next one is the drive to defend. We naturally defend ourselves. We naturally defend things that we love. And that is what motivates us to become better, stronger people. Communication. I work at Peak Behavioral Services, and I'm a registered behavioral technician, and I work under BCBAs. And when I first started working there about a year ago, there was no communication, just no form of it. There was no, it was just kind of texting, and whoever's number you had, you would text if you had to get a shift covered, which was very frustrating, and it felt just really overbearing, and there just bad communication all over the place. But one of my BCBAs, or my like a leader in my organization, she and I had a really good relationship, and I felt incredibly comfortable with her. So I went to her and I talked about the communication problem, and I talked about the problem that I felt that I wasn't the only one having. And she trusted me and said, I would love to make this better. Can you help me with it? Can you help me with this project? And I just always remember that moment of feeling so good, because she trusted me to help her with a problem that was going on at work. And she said, if this works well, then we can do it for all of, there was different locations, and we can implement it in all the locations. And it felt so good, and I was able to come up with ideas and bring it to her, and I have felt such a strong connection with my work ever since, because I feel like it gave me that self-fulfillment that I needed. And it was just a really powerful teaching lesson for me about how important this humanistic approach is, because she saw me as a person, and a person that was struggling and with a problem, and helped me meet that, but helped me grow a sense of need and accomplishment through that. My last thing is a quote, or not a quote, but it's 3 success terms that Elder Bednar talked about. And this is in his Conversation on Leadership conference. He said the 3 things that a company needs to be successful long term. They need an organization that must attract good people. You have to have good people in your organization to create something that is good and strong, and that's going to withstand the test of time. The next one, there must be clear expectations for performance. Yes, you want everyone to succeed, but people need to know where they can succeed and what they can do in order to get there. And then third is members must be motivated to exceed expectations. I loved my job. I love my job because it constantly helps me be a better person. It constantly helps me to know how I can be better and in ways that I can improve. And I come up with my own ways of how I can improve every day. And I really enjoy that. So that's about the humanistic approach. Here are my references if you would like to learn a little bit more about what I did. Thank you.